37, and we were just having such a good conversation. I'm gonna want to talk to these ladies for like
the next 90 minutes.
30, yeah, 300 minutes. Okay, so this is Lindsay Ambrose and Arden Joy. So, you know, when the new baby arrives, we were talking about this before, parents are often told it's the happiest time of their lives, which for some it can be, but for others, there have been studies that show the drop in happiness after having a baby is actually bigger than what people experience after unemployment, divorce, or even loss. Yet, we rarely talk about it. So our next guests want to change that conversation, help new parents out. We're talking about the authors of The Nurture Method, and in their book, they show parents how to weave mindfulness into the everyday chaos of caring for a newborn. I'm so glad that you guys wrote this book, put it together, because I do think that, you know, as a society, we push that on new parents, that it's going to be perfect. And coming from me, someone who has never experienced mental health issues, problems in my entire life, after I had my first daughter, I had postpartum anxiety. I had a little bout of depression, and it was so scary. Even from the recovery room at the hospital, I felt it immediately.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit first about what drew you guys to write this book?
Yeah, so the idea came to me after my first child, and I just was, you know, I have this background. I'm a Reiki master, I'm a yoga teacher, and I was feeling all of what you're describing, right? The depression, the anxiety, and I was looking to my mindfulness practices. What can I do to sort of ground myself and be present for my baby? And you can't pop a squat and meditate for 20 minutes when you have a new baby.
Right.
And luckily, I know Lindsay, and she's a mindfulness coach for families. And so I reached out to her and kind of said, okay, I'm not finding anything out there for babies on this topic. What do you do? How do you bring mindfulness into this new time? And so what we came up with.
We created this Nurture Method, which is really a guidebook of mindful tools and practices for modern parents and caregivers. And all the techniques we share are rooted in research, but really guided by heart. Because we remind parents that the greatest gift we give our children is our presence, right? And that's something we can practice and nurture. And so we share the tools and the practices that you can just, like you said, weave into your day. Because it's not about adding more to your plate. It's about just having those moments to pause, and those, you know, those small moments create momentum and create an energy that really moves with your family to create that rhythm as they grow through the seasons.
Can you give us an example or two? Because, you know, we're both parents. She's got 3, I've got 2. So part of me has probably blocked out some of those first 12 weeks. Maggie will be like, oh, you're blocking them out. Fair.
Yeah.
But what are some examples of ways that you would encourage brand new parents, if we have new parents that are tuning in right now, to be able to take a moment and feed your mind rather than just be cleaning bottles and you know when's my next feeding and oh my gosh, how's my milk supply? All that stuff.
All those right. So we envision, you know, you're at the changing table. It's what, like your 10th outfit change of the day. Baby's crying, the dog's barking, you know, all of those things are at play. That's a moment to just notice, right? And you can take that moment to pause. One practice we recommend is just notice that and maybe place your hand on your heart. Place your hand on your baby's heart. That is just a pause that can help you just recenter and reground. And it's those moments that maybe you'll be able to observe the way you're feeling, allow it to come in, but then, wow, you may have a different thought, right? A different question that you ask. And that's really what it is. You know, how can you take the way you're speaking, you know, day by day, the rituals you create? What can you do to just incorporate these little pauses in to bring in that presence?
So we talk about even doing, instead of this little piggy went to market, you can change it, right? So you're already playing with your baby, but you might say, pause, we are peace now, and do each little toe and say something that's affirming to you, because what we know is that babies mirror us, right? This starts with the smile, right? We smile, they smile. So here we are going through this biggest drop in happiness, and we're anxious and depressed, and they're new to this planet looking to us, and we're like, you know, and so all it takes is a little pause, you know, play with their toes and enjoy them in that way, but connect with yourself so that they're picking up on that.
In your research with this, because again, I can only speak from my own experience, I absolutely panicked because not only do you have the anxiety, the depression sometimes, but also intrusive thoughts or thinking, is this normal? What would you recommend? Obviously your book, but what other steps do you think, because I know you guys are deep in this, new parents should do to kind of find support in their, you know, this huge life change that they have? Because as you mentioned, like that drop in happiness, and then I know that sounds drastic, but it really is just you before you had kids and then the you after you had kids.
It's a flip, yeah.
So how do you, what are you saying to parents to support them, to lift them up?
Yeah, I mean, it's really building those tools, right? And so we offer so many different techniques that you can try, and we know it's really just practicing and seeing, but reaching out, creating a network, not being afraid to ask for help, and really knowing that there's no right way, right? You know, it's really, you have to tune in because it's a little different for every parent, every family. So the more you can just kind of pause and turn in, you may be able to just see that, you know, we can create this. Yeah, you got this. And so, yeah, and that's really what we share and, you know, encourage that.
How much, I'm wondering like how many new mothers experience some level of depression and anxiety, as Caitlin mentioned, versus people who just kind of sail through and they're fine. And also, if folks are affected by the fact that like, you're supposed to be so happy after a baby is born.
Yes.
When you're not, how often does that mess with people's minds? Wait, I should be happy now. Why am I bummed out?
Yes, and we often talk about busting that myth, right? This idea that it's just, it is magical. It's one of the best things ever. I think we can all agree that with that. And it's really hard. And I would say, I think 100% of mothers feel some sense of anxiety and depression. And with social media, you start to really go, it's supposed to be like this, and I'm supposed to look like this, and my baby's supposed to be doing this. And that was sort of kind of what this, I mean, the cover says, embrace the messy journey of parenthood, because it is messy. And I think when you can pause, however you do that, and practice mindfulness, you will find that you're just in the chaos and it's okay.
Yeah.
And some of those expectations of, I'm not doing this right, will go away because you realize you are, and you're exactly who your baby needs.
I love that message. And to your point about like taking those moments with your baby, I think too we get on the social media and we think, what should we be doing constantly with our newborn? Do we have to be playing with them all the time?
Yeah.
And just to tell them that, you know, what you're doing is enough. Do you have any recommendations for parents who maybe are about to have a baby, or maybe they're nervous about how it's going to go after they have their baby? Like, what do you speak to them? The ones who are pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about just our environment, right? So how are we setting ourselves up? You know, maybe the space that we have, is it feel, you know, make sure you're feeling that energy of calm, and you can set yourself up before the baby even comes. You can think about building your tools, like your resources, you know, the support network like you talked about, so you can ask for help. And I mean, what some other techniques?
Get off social media. Get off social media.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about a lot is that companies want to make you think that you need stuff. You need this toy. You need the wipe warmer. Babies don't need wipe warmers. In fact, don't do the wipe warmer.
Wait, I used the wipe warmer.
We had that.
Oh no, because then they demand it. Then when you're out on the road and you've got cold ones, then they're like mad that they don't.
Yeah, I get it.
No, so they make you feel like you need these things to make sure your baby is okay. And I tell new parents all the time, you need nothing. Like, they need you. It's the 4th trimester. They're coming out and they need you more than anything. And so it's really about setting yourself up for success. You know, in this book we talk about colors that are calming and grounding. So painting your walls, you know, a color that will connect with you.
Like what? What colors?
They're lighter colors. Trying to pick things like on our website. You can find out. We've got a whole palette for you.
That's fun.
But even plants that can help oxygenate the room and just sort of create more breathing room. So just getting intentional about what's going to support you, because when the chaos starts, it's just, you're going to be up at 2 in the morning with a blowout, nursing a baby, you know, the whole thing. And it's like, what is in that moment to support you?
I think too, like what helped me this 3rd time around especially, is knowing how fast it goes.
It's so fast.
So new parents, I know when you're in it, and it can be awful, but it goes by so quick that before you know it, you're going to be on to the next stage and you will be sleeping again. And also, I think too, like, what works for you may not work for other people.
Exactly.
So like even your next door neighbor could have a different way of doing things. I know my neighbors were doing things different than I did, and it was okay. And it don't, you know, just do what works for you guys.
Riding off of kind of what Caitlin said about your messages to expectant mothers, I know that like a lot of expectant parents have a story that they're telling themselves about exactly what their birth story
their birth story,
going to look like. What would be your message for folks who may have a preconceived notion of exactly how it's going to go?
I mean, we all can get into that, right? Those stories. And so that's really what mindfulness is just taking a moment to get still, and then you can observe that story you're telling yourself. And with that pause, with that stillness, maybe you can say, connect back to heart center and be open to a new story, right? But yeah, when you're in it, so if you just kind of have those tools of being able to notice what story is telling and instead get present to what is right now, what's before me. Oh wow, this is different than I imagined, but I can do this. And so you have those mantras, you know, a little something to recenter you back so that you can show up for what's showing up, because it's just in the midst of it, and you know, you can find that calm inside even when there's different things going on, but it's awareness is the first step. That's the shift.
I will say that everything that you guys have said today can apply to future stages of parenting.
Yes, absolutely.
As well. And not just, we're in different stages right now, and it's a constant
all of us.
improvisation.
Yes.
All right, Lindsay Ambrose and Arden Joy, thank you both. Their book is called The Nurture Method. I'm assuming you can get this on Amazon, wherever books are sold.
Yes.
There it is right there. Thank you guys both so much for coming in and sharing your expertise.
And don't let this scare you. Don't be scared to have babies.
No, babies are wonderful.
Babies are the best thing in the whole world. It's, you know, it's growing.
And it is magical.
But it is,
Indeed. Thank you both so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We get more Chicago Now when we come back.